Lesson 7. When Wi-Fi is and isn't sufficient. As we mentioned in Lesson 2, there is a good deal of confusion amongst enterprise managers, building owners, and even seasoned architects over what a sufficient IBW solution really is. And it's a question not easily answered. But one fact remains true. No matter the size or configuration of the space you're trying to cover, Wi-Fi coverage alone does not constitute a complete IBW solution. Like all the options we've explored, small cell, DAS and others, Wi-Fi has a definite seat at the table when it comes to providing wireless connectivity for tenants. But in the majority of circumstances, Wi-Fi is not enough by itself. Even with the greater functionality afforded by the latest Wi-Fi standards and applications, it is not a substitute for an overlaid LTE or 5G network. Wi-Fi coverage is assumed in many enterprise environments, and for good reason. You can't go into a coffee shop or stay at a hotel without being offered free Wi-Fi. But the very thing that makes Wi-Fi so easy to set up can also severely hamper its performance, particularly in an enterprise-style SLA-defined deployment. The fact that Wi-Fi uses unlicensed, unregulated frequency bands in the 2.4 and 5 GHz ranges. What does it mean to use unlicensed bands? It means you have the freedom to set up a network quickly and without regulatory overhead. But it also means that ultimately you have no control over network efficiency, security, or reliability. IBW solutions that use licensed, allocated bands give a building owner or manager rights to their chosen spectrum and legal recourse against other parties should conflicts over a common band arise. Wi-Fi, being unlicensed and unregulated, offers no such assurances or rights. Wi-Fi remains the Wild West of wireless connectivity. Here's why. You don't own your Wi-Fi channels. In fact, you're not even the first in line. The number of Wi-Fi channels in the lower 2.4 GHz band is limited to 3 in most global regions, but the higher capacity 5 GHz Wi-Fi band offers up to 14 channels. This allows multiple networks to operate in proximity to each other without interfering. However, the lack of oversight means that conflicts can often and do arise with neighbors, oftentimes neighbors with more watts behind their signal than yours. It then becomes a matter of creating an ad hoc agreement with those neighbors to coordinate channel selections to avoid interference. In an enterprise environment, tenant turnover is one common way for this problem to arise. Another challenge is the fact that Wi-Fi shares spectrum with Doppler radar used by airports and weather stations. If such interference is detected by a Wi-Fi network, it automatically defers to the radar source, voluntarily surrendering those channels and potentially reducing network performance. While this is generally not too difficult to avoid during initial setup, it's not unheard of for mobile Doppler units to interfere in networks that had previously been deemed clear of conflicts. So it is that Wi-Fi's unlicensed, unregulated nature can be the dual-edged sword. It can be a boon in some cases, yet introduce unforeseen challenges in others. Everyone's using it, so who's keeping it secure? Wi-Fi is easy to install and configure, but keeping it secure is an entirely different matter. Coffee shop access point spoofing has become the stuff of IT security legend, where a malicious user establishes his own Wi-Fi hotspot and mimics the open Wi-Fi access point nearest to him. When other users connect, thinking his hotspot is your Wi-Fi network, he can intercept everything those users send across their connections, including passwords, financial information, and more. Identifying and shutting down these threats is often difficult, if not impossible, and it's certainly something most enterprise IT departments don't have the time to handle. Dedicated IBW deployments make it much easier to keep track of connected devices and quickly spot security threats. Wi-Fi applications are growing fast, but not all are ready for prime time. One of the ways in which a Wi-Fi network may appear redundant with an IBW solution is the emergence of Voice over Wi-Fi, VO Wi-Fi. As its name suggests, it adds the capacity to carry voice data from mobile devices over Wi-Fi bands back to the core network. While this is a useful feature, it comes at a significant cost to performance because each small VO Wi-Fi packet of information must be preceded with a slowly transmitted header. At the normal packet repetition rate of 50 times per second, the cumulative header overhead from each call consumes a substantial amount of airtime, an inefficient use of Wi-Fi's limited capacity even under ideal circumstances. The current 802.11 AC Wi-Fi standard promotes an impressive throughput rate of as much as 1.3 gigabits per second. But this theoretical limit bears little relation to the actual speeds an enterprise user experiences. Capacity, too, is a highly variable metric in real-world deployments, depending on the distribution of access points, distribution of users, and the kind of demand each one puts on the network. Operator-grade IBW solutions are generally built to deliver 5 nines of availability and reliability. That is, a given access point will be available 99.999% of the time. To put that into more relatable terms, that equates to approximately 5 minutes of downtime per year. Even the best Wi-Fi solutions, properly installed, optimized and managed, rarely achieve 3 nines or 99.9% availability. While this seems to be a modest difference, 3 nines means you can expect almost 9 hours of downtime annually. The more common 99%, 2 nines, yields a staggering 83 hours of downtime per year, enough to cause minor annoyance to a retail customer checking his email, but a potential disaster for a bank, hospital, or other connectivity, critical enterprises. In these cases, downtime can lead to lost revenue or worse. It really comes down to understanding the communication needs of your enterprise and how Wi-Fi can or cannot meet them. The expectation of nearly ubiquitous Wi-Fi access is only getting stronger, so inclusion of an 802.11 AC network is virtually a given for most building owners, managers and architects. The question really is, how important is it for your wireless connectivity to exceed what Wi-Fi in its real-world state can reasonably and reliably offer? Considering the kind of traffic Wi-Fi is best equipped to manage, and in what concentrations, it may be perfectly suited to an enterprise environment where Wi-Fi is provided to guests, customers, visitors, or other non-business critical users. It also offers an economical complement for environments that are largely dependent on wired Ethernet connections. However, if your space is a hospital that requires medical telemetry or some other situation that comes with rigorous SLAs or other regulatory requirements, the prospect of inadequate coverage, capacity and availability becomes far more serious, even business critical. The good news for building owners, managers and architects is that while Wi-Fi is a given, it's by no means exclusive to other platforms designed to serve the applications Wi-Fi isn't suited to handle. Overlaying multiple wireless solutions not only better equips an enterprise space to deal with the diverse needs of its tenants, but it also prepares for the changing needs of new tenants. When it comes to offering low-cost, secure, data-driven access, Wi-Fi will get the job done. But for handling indoor voice communications, or to offer authentication-free data access to visitors, a dedicated IBW solution offers clear advantages, since it doesn't require a login and allows a cell phone to operate just as it would outdoors in the macro network. It's also worth noting that an IBW solution also provides a sometimes crucial redundancy for users who are unfortunate enough to be working during the Wi-Fi network's 9 or perhaps as much as 83 hours of unexpected availability per year. All it takes is a quick tap from Wi-Fi to 4G LTE or soon 5G, and work can continue uninterrupted. So, when is standalone Wi-Fi enough? It's a question only you can answer. And that answer depends on your understanding of what Wi-Fi is truly capable of, what it's designed to do, and what it isn't. New standards and evolving technologies are moving the platform forward, but it remains a bit of a gamble in the enterprise space as a standalone solution. As with so many technologies, its strengths are also its weaknesses. Unlicensed bands make it easy to set up, yet vulnerable to interference. Emerging applications expand its capacities, while simultaneously highlighting its limitations. And its easy availability on a store shelf balances with its 2 to 3 nines of availability that can mean hours or days of downtime per year. In most enterprise spaces, the best strategy is a mix of Wi-Fi and IBW solutions. Each has its place and, in complex enterprise environments, you're likely to need both to keep tenants happy and productive. In the next lesson, we'll explore how to install and integrate an IBW solution.